Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on our Spongebob Picasso Kids Night In. My name is Tyler, and I'm going to be helping you all and walking you through our Spongebob Picasso and just getting creative with everyone. So, I'm going to walk through the supplies that you'll get with your kit. You'll get 5 different colors, including an additional black for some detailing. So our glazes, you'll get a black, a white, a yellow, a blue, and a red, as well as a plate as a mixing dish. You'll get a tiny piece of sandpaper, which I'll explain a little bit of that as we go along. You'll get a water color or a water-based marker, so a regular Crayola, and our lightest shade is gray. You'll get 2 different paint brushes, so different tips on the ends of those. You'll get your bisque tile that hasn't been fired yet, not in the kiln, so that's what your glazes will be for. And just in addition, it's probably best to have an additional dish or cup of water as we're transferring and using different colors, as well as some paper towels. So setting everything aside, besides our bisque tile and our water-based marker, we're going to start sketching. So doing our outline for what we want our abstract SpongeBob to look like. And it's probably best, and I would recommend, to maybe have a reference picture or two of SpongeBob available, just so you can constantly keep referring to that throughout this project. And the goal here is to use the entire circumference of this tile and not to leave any space untouched. So now that I have my outlines for where I want my SpongeBob to go, I'm going to start drawing his features. And this is where the reference pictures of SpongeBob come in handy, because now I'm just going to kind of tilt and have him going in kind of different directions. I'm going to have his eyes here, so we're going to start there, and his eyes kind of overlap. SpongeBob has 3 little eyelashes very close together at the top of his eyeballs, right at the top of his eyeballs. So any mistakes that I make, or places that I don't really want things to go, I can always go back and correct when I get to my um glaze. So for his legs, since I have them crossed, I kind of went up into the border of the tile here, right? So the end of the line, I started here just to get the angles of his legs right. And since this leg is this leg, it goes up and behind, and this other leg is coming from underneath to out front. So the knee of this leg will overlap and come down at an angle. Now I'm going to take my glaze and slide this over. I'm going to take my glaze and I'm going to start with, going from light to dark. I'll use this one last. Make sure I have my water ready and my brushes. And I'm going to take the yellow since it's our lightest color, and that's where I'm going to start the sponge of him. So the core of him is yellow, and just getting your brush nice and ready and wiping off any excess. Taking some yellow and blue, I'm going to create this green that I'm using for the pores of SpongeBob. Doing this in small portions because I don't want it to dry out. All right, I'm gonna mix some, and this spot is dried, so I'm just gonna remix over it. Taking some yellow and red. Gonna make an orange. Probably need a little bit more yellow than red. I'm really just grabbing off the side here. All right, I have my orange. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue. And building on that, I'm trying to make a brown for SpongeBob's pants. Color, I just make some use that color as the color for his pants. Now, the brown is only an option if you're drawing his pants at all. Since I have a little bit of his pants, I'm going to go ahead and take a chance of mixing these colors. All right, so the last color that I'm going to use is black. The black I'm going to use mostly for detail, his pupils, his eyelashes, and his outline. All right, so I'm going to take our 49 and pull it'll come with the pin as a stopper at the top. I'm going to set that aside safely so that it's not poking. And then I'm going to shake it up a little bit and then kind of practice on the side a little bit. This I'm going to use for details and those finer lines. So along our shapes, I'm going to use it for the tie, and then getting familiar with how that feels. All right. Lastly, I am going to fill in those white spaces. Remember I said I was going to leave them open because I want to do solid colors on those. So I'm just going to fill this in with the colors I already have. So I'm going to use red, where I kind of just was like, I need some red down here. So I'm going to do red down here. I hope that you guys have been enjoying this Kids Night In so far. So our last step is going to be tracing those borders that we have outlined that are still in gray using our Fun Writer. So again, just going to test a little area to make sure it doesn't come splashing out. Once you are happy with how your piece looks and everything is in the right place and everything is dry, you're ready, and just bring it by our studio. We'll put it in the kiln and I'll show you the finished results once it's out of the kiln. All right, you guys, and this is the finished result. Just want to thank you guys for joining us on Kids Night In here at Art Smart Academy on our SpongeBob Picasso. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on Facebook, and I will see you next week.